What are you doing?
Nothing at all.
You were playing Monster Hunter again, weren't you?
No.
Yeah.
No. No! Give me the control! No! I have a problem!
Pull yourself together. You have a show to do. Now, give the people what you promised them. Entertain them. Give them Sonic Mania.
You're right. For the fans, I must review Sunk Manila. Thank you, Masked Cameraman, that I have no recollection of hiring whatsoever. You're a godsend. For Sunk Manila!
Thank God, I thought I'd never leave.
Wait a minute, I didn't hire a cameraman! Finally, I've been waiting to talk about this for the longest time, ever since I started this Sonic Marathon. Sonic Mania was announced alongside Sonic Forces for the 25th anniversary of the franchise during the,
Watch right here.
laughable live stream at the San Diego Comic-Con last year. I mean, as much of a shit show as that live stream was, it came with the announcement of 2 new Sonic games. One that was a return to the classic 2D style, and one that appeared to be a sequel to Generations. But of course, we all know better than that now. Sonic Mania was directed by Christian Whitehead, who is famous among the Sonic community for developing remasters of Sonic 1, 2, and CD for mobile phones. Whitehead approached producer Takashi Iizuka with a prototype titled Sonic Discovery, and Iizuka was like, "Yes! Make it happen! Right now! Do it!" And with the help of Headcanon, led by Simon Tomley and Pagoda West Games, Sonic Mania was released in August 2017 for the PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC to astounding critical success. This was the first time Sonic had seen this amount of praise since Generations back in 2011. Holy shit. I've been waiting to talk about this game for a long time, guys, so without further ado, this is Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania begins after the events of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, with Sonic and Tails returning to Angel Island after reading a powerful energy signature. Unfortunately, when they arrive, a group of egg robos have discovered and excavated the source of the energy signature, a magical gemstone called the Phantom Ruby. The ruby releases a powerful burst of energy which not only appears to send Sonic, Tails, and even Knuckles back in time, but it also transforms the egg robos into the hard-boiled heavies, which not only gives them fancy new paint jobs, but also gives them new abilities as well. With the Phantom Ruby now in Eggman's possession, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles travel across time and space to stop the mustachioed scientists from, what else, taking over the world.
Of course!
Sonic Mania doesn't do too much to change the formula of the story. Your ultimate goal is to, stop the good doctor, rescue as many critters as possible, and collect the Chaos Emeralds. But notice how I said through time and space. Much like Sonic Generations, a lot of old levels and set pieces were reused for this game, with only a few new stages coming into play between them. Now, I'm not going to say that reusing levels and ideas is a bad thing, but who else is sick and tired of seeing Green Hill? Yeah, that's what I thought. But what I really like about the older levels is that they are actually not one-for-one the same level like the old games. Many of the existing stages take assets from other stages, like Chemical Plant Zone still has its winding pipes and toxic goo, but takes elements from Wacky Workbench where the toxic goo is turned into, well, yeah, that. Then there's Oil Ocean, where if you get the Flame Shield, you can set the oil on fire! Holy shit, how cool is that? While the abundance of older stages may tickle the nostalgia bone for many who have been with the series since the beginning, some newcomers may feel the nostalgia pandering to be a bit intrusive, and for those who have been hoping for something new may be left hanging. But I played this with a couple of friends who've never played a classic Sonic game in their life, and they absolutely loved it. The new stages like Studiopolis and Mirage Saloon are wonderful additions that pack in new gimmicks and stage hazards. I thought it was pretty cool seeing Sonic use a giant gun to shoot himself across the stage. There you go, kids. Sonic finally uses a gun. You got your wish. You little psychopaths. Let's not forget about my personal favorite stage, Press Garden. I thought the idea of a newspaper warehouse was an odd choice in level design, but I wound up falling in love with it, and it's all thanks to its second act. I mean, by God, this level is just beautiful! I love how the cherry blossoms just stand out against the snowy landscape, and being turned into an ice cube that slides into enemies and blockades of ice is just so satisfying. I feel like this is a level Christian showed Takashi when he showed off Sonic Discovery. The stages aren't the only thing that looks good. Pretty much everything about this game graphically is just... I love it. We have come such a long way in terms of graphics and animation quality. I mean, look at Sonic getting gooped on. It's just so smooth. Same with the rings and shields and all the animations. The music is once again some of the best in the series. If it's one thing Sonic does right, it's the music. Well, most of the time. I've heard this game's soundtrack multiple times while just doing household chores or writing scripts and such, and it's hard to choose some of my favorites, but Press Gardens and Studiopolis' theme are so fucking good! Then there's the opening theme, simply titled Friends. Huh. It worked a little too well. You can thank the Hyper Potions for such a catchy opening theme, and then there's Lopes who composed the soundtrack for the game. I highly recommend checking out both these wonderful composers. You can find their YouTube channels in the description below. Now, of course, I could go on and on about how amazing the graphics are, how kick-ass the soundtrack is, but the gameplay is where Sonic Mania truly shines. Sonic plays just like he always has in the classic games. He runs fast, jumps, curls into a ball, and he still has a spin dash, but new to Sonic's arsenal is the drop dash. Sonic can rev up while airborne, and once he hits the ground, he performs a spin dash of sorts, which gives Sonic a slight boost in speed. I found that I hardly ever used it, but it's a pretty neat move nonetheless. As I previously stated, Sonic isn't alone in his endeavors. While starting a new game, the player can also choose Tails, Knuckles, or even Sonic and Tails for some two-player action. Tails is what I would consider the easy mode of the game, since not only can he do the spin dash, but he can also fly, allowing players to find hidden secrets like extra lives or capsules, which make their return from the classic games. Or if you're lucky enough, you could possibly stumble upon a giant ring that will teleport you to a bonus game where you have to chase down a UFO and nab yourself a Chaos Emerald. As you run after the candy-coated gemstone, you're placed under a time limit signified by rings, and you also have a speed meter signified by blue orbs straight out of Sonic 3. You collect these as you run, and the stage doesn't end until you either run out of rings or nab the Chaos Emeralds. So you have a choice. Do you get more rings and prioritize time over speed, or do you pick up orbs to run faster but lose a little bit of control in the process? Speaking of orbs, when you collect enough rings and pass through a checkpoint, sparkles emit from the checkpoint, which you can jump into, and it takes you to another bonus game, the Blue Orb Maze from Sonic 3. It's so great to see this return, and if you wind up actually beating one of these stages, you're presented with either a silver or a gold medal, which unlocks bonuses and secrets like debug mode or Knuckles and Knuckles mode. Yeah, Knuckles, harder than the rest of them. Speaking of Knuckles, I better get back on track. Knuckles plays pretty much like he did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. He can do the spin dash like Sonic and Tails, but he can also glide and climb pretty much any wall. Ah, thank God. No red crystal bullshit to deal with here, my Rasta pal. Some of his scenarios actually play out a little bit differently too. For example, when he hitches a ride with Sonic and Tails to Mirage Saloon, he gets knocked the fuck out by magical bullshit fingers over here and has to catch up with his friends. But don't worry, he knows the way. You know, I kind of feel bad for Knuckles. I mean, he's just trying to take a snooze while his little critter buddies have fun in the forest. Just let him sleep, man. As I mentioned earlier, the shield capsules make a return, and they come in many different flavors. There's a standard shield, which nets Sonic one free hit without losing any rings, and then there's the elemental shields. They all act similarly to the standard shield, but they all protect the gang from certain elements. The bubble shield keeps them from drowning, the fire shield protects them from fire, and the electric shield pulls coins to them. In addition, they all grant them new abilities, like becoming a ball of fire or turning into a goddamn magnet. It's pretty cool. There's also capsules that contain extra lives, rings, and even this weird blue ring that I guess only ever appeared in Knuckles Chaotix. Never played that game, I should get around to trying it. When you break open the capsule, your ring count will turn blue like Sonic's balls. And whenever you get hit, instead of these tiny little rings popping out your poopa, big ol' rings will fly out, which not only sounds painful, but it makes it easier to get your ring count back to where it was previously.
And if you're anything like me, aka you suck, then you're gonna need as many rings as possible, especially against these bosses.
Okay, in all seriousness, the bosses in Sonic Mania are not actually that difficult, but they are actually some of the best boss battles that I've ever experienced in a video game. You'll alternate between fighting Eggman or one of the hard-boiled heavies at the end of each stage. I think this time Dr. Eggman isn't messing around since he pulls out the Death Egg Robo at the end of Green Hill Act 2. Shit, he's out for blood this time. Then again, he also challenges you to a game of Puyo Puyo, so yeah. Whatever, it's still fun. I even love how at the end of Mirage Saloon Act 2, the magic bullshit finger guy, as I mentioned earlier, turns into characters that no one has seen outside of their original games. And that's actually pretty fucking cool.
Sonic Mania is by far one of the best Sonic games that I and many others have played in a long time. This was made with love by many talented creators who grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog and wanted to make something special for the rest of the fandom. Made by the Mania, for the Mania, as they say. Sure, some of the nostalgia pandering could be seen as a bit too intrusive for those of you who haven't been with the series as long as I have, but for those of you who haven't let this bother your experience with Sonic Mania, I hope you had as much fun as I did. And I just found out that there's actually more coming to Sonic Mania in the form of Sonic Mania Plus, which includes 2 new playable characters. You know, I wonder who they... It's Sega's original OCs. Neat. Well, with that all being said, I hope you all like this video, and if you want to see more from me in the future, you can hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to be notified when I upload again. With all that being said, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to live strong, game on, and I'll see you next time.